This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I am one of the hosts, Tom.
And I am Tim.
Tim, how are you doing this week?
I'm hungry.
You just ate. I just watched you eat a whole quesadilla.
Yeah, I ate a quesadilla, Tom. It was 4 quadrants of a quesadilla.
Yeah,
I ate it.
slices.
But here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
That it's 7:12 p.m.
Yes.
That was the first thing I ate today.
Oh, well then, were you an idiot?
Yeah.
Eat during the day.
Yeah, I know. I forgot.
Tim, you don't eat breakfast? You don't have a well-balanced breakfast?
Sometimes I do. Are you a breakfast man, Tom? But you wake up at like noon.
I
so,
know.
like,
I don't wake up at noon. That's a common misconception about me.
You sleep into brunch or lunch, as far as I'm concerned.
I've never heard of lunch. Is that after brunch?
Yeah. Imagine eating breakfast and then brunch and then lunch every day. You'd be a regular Walter Hudson.
You would be. Anyway, I do eat breakfast. A lot of times I'll eat cereal sometimes, but I'll tell you what I eat most is like some kind of a protein bar.
Like what, a Quest bar?
A Quest bar, an RX bar. One of those kinds of things. If I eat too much in the morning, it upsets my tummy.
Wow. Do you take vitamins, Tom?
No, I don't take. You pee those out. And
So-
it hurts. Kills. Those things are huge.
I've been taking these vitamin D pills, Tom.
You got to get out in the sun. That's the only way you can get vitamin D.
Or from these pills.
You get so much more being outside.
Tom-
It's very hard to take vitamin D through a pill.
First of all, you of all people don't lecture me on getting out in the sun.
Tim, but you have to admit, I am a licensed doctor.
You are a medical doctor.
38 states. I heard one of those radio ads the other day about like one of those Caribbean medical schools.
Mm-hmm.
We should do that as a bit, right?
Like, I mean, still work.
What do you mean, still work?
Like, you still have to, like, become a doctor.
Yeah, but I think it's like very easy if you go down there.
No, I think that's just that's a misconception.
Only
Like,
one
it's
way to
just
find
like-
out.
Here's my question. If
Being-
you become a lawyer in New York, right?
Yeah.
You can't go to some other state and start practicing law, right? You got to take the bar in that state.
I think some states, they recognize other states, but yeah, like every state is different to practice law in.
Is that the case with doctors?
I believe so. I think that is also the case with doctors.
Okay,
But
so
I think
I don't
it's like,
want like some Alabama doctor coming up here and being like,
I'm
now I'll see you,
only-
Tim. Like,
I'm only allowed to practice in Alabama, but yeah.
right? Like they'd have to like be vetted. So it's like, oh, you know what you need to do? Kill yourself a raccoon and eat its tail or something.
I think with being a lawyer, it can vary a bit state to state, but with being a doctor, like it doesn't really vary that much
I
state
don't
to
know.
state. But I was hoping it would be like, you ever see Catch Me If You Can?
Mm-hmm.
Great movie. Great flick, man.
Tom Hanks,
Uh,
Leonardo
DiCaprio.
DiCaprio, the boy from everybody's favorite show, Growing Pains.
No, he didn't play Boner. He played, what was his name on the thing? On the show. He was only in a few episodes. Boner was in almost every episode, R.I.P.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was. He was in a lot of episodes.
He was the cockroach of that show, the cockroach from the Cosby Show, not like a cockroach.
Right.
But like I feel like
Why,
he was
just because he had an embarrassing nickname?
yeah, and he was the friend of the eldest
boy.
son.
Yeah.
And I feel like was around a lot in the early days, and then they developed the younger characters.
And then they were
and
like, this isn't going to be our Urkel. He's not taking off with the audience here.
Tom, I heard the craziest thing about Urkel, and I think we've talked about this.
All right.
Urkel, they didn't figure out Urkel until like halfway. Family Matters.
Yeah.
Didn't figure out that
no, Urkel from
was a
Hamlet.
I don't know, just in case. That he was the breakout character because he didn't appear till like the mid-season.
Yeah.
So, season 1. So for syndication and for I think even reruns over that
Oh,
summer.
they just didn't air the early episodes?
No,
they inserted them?
They reshot cold opens that were all Urkel centric for like the first half of the season. Cut all the original cold opens, put these new Urkel centric ones.
Yeah.
Sent them out to market. The kids like us didn't even really notice.
Man, that's smart.
Yeah, Miller Boyette, two smart men.
Oh, I thought that was one man.
You've met my son, Miller Boyette.
Also, I mean, they got rid of the youngest kid in that show, and nobody
Judy,
even noticed.
yeah.
And the grandma, right?
Well, she passed.
Yeah, but did they
I don't
address
think
it in
that
the
was
show?
actually true. No, she was always around.
I feel like she wasn't towards the end.
She became like indigent.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
It was sad. She was up in the attic, and they just ignored her.
They refused to get one of those stair chairs.
Yeah, stair chairs.
What were we talking about? What brought us onto Urkel?
You were talking about Catch Me If You Can.
Oh, Catch Me If You Can. How the guy...
Catch Me If You Must. That's what I call that movie.
Well, it's not the name of the movie.
Catch Me If You Must. That's what I say to the cops when they're after me.
For passing bad checks.
Yeah.
That guy, and in real life did this too, passed the bar exam. And he claims that like he didn't cheat, that he just studied and passed it.
Yeah, you can do that. People do that all the time.
They don't do it all the time because I think about doing it all the time, but very few people actually do that.
You're not smart enough, Tom.
I know a lot about different cases.
No, but you had to study. That's the thing. Like you had to study for the bar exam to pass the bar exam. Like you can't just. It's not like this guy, Leonardo DiCaprio, went in cold and was like, I got enough knowledge from the streets to pass the bar exam.
Yeah.
Like nobody would do that.
But
like I feel like a lot of slime balls do that. Do you have to disclose if you're a lawyer who passed the bar but didn't graduate from law school?
Probably not. I mean, you probably don't have to disclose. Like a savvy person would notice
Yeah,
this
they'd
person.
smell your cologne, your cheap cologne a mile away because you're a slime ball.
Well, Tim, hey, you're talking about lawyers. Lawyers are slime balls. I've tried to come up with something better than that, but they're also
You
sharks.
just said what I said like 5 times in a row, but you said it.
Well, you're saying the ones that don't go to law school are slime balls.
Yeah.
I'm saying, hey,
you know what I say? Lawyers, who needs them?
I'll tell you who needs them. My ex-wife.
So she can sue
So she can take all my trading
hard-earned money?
cards.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What trading cards?
A lot of the old ones that would come in tobacco.
Oh, wow. Like a Honus Wagner?
Yeah. They're worth a lot of money. And yeah, she took them all.
A Chrissy Mathewson?
Yep. I had
Christy Mathewson?
I had all of those.
Wow.
But I don't think there's like a medical test where you can take and if you pass, you're a doctor. There should be. So you don't have to go to medical school. You can be like a doctor that doesn't operate, maybe. Be like a consulting doctor.
Like Dr. House?
He's not a consulting. I guess he is, huh?
Yeah, they didn't let him do
He operates
surgery.
sometimes. No, he doesn't?
I don't know. I've never saw an episode
never
of House.
seen it either. He's always like, wow, it's probably a mystery,
Yeah.
this ailment.
He always correctly identifies it as a mystery.
Yeah.
And then Fade to Black, created by
Dr. House, MD.
and Miller and Boyette.
I have a question. This is unrelated to. This was what I originally wanted to ask you up top in the show, and you'll be mad about this probably.
Great.
What is the etiquette when you're waiting for the bathroom, like a single bathroom?
I just go.
In your pants?
No, I just go in the bathroom and use the bathroom.
No. But somebody's in there.
Okay. I wait for them to be finished and then I go in.
Good. But what if they're in there for like a real long time? Is there an etiquette around you know what? I've been waiting here for like 5 minutes. I should let this lie.
It depends on the context, as with everything in life, Tom. Number one, here's what you do.
Not in like a bar. A bar, whatever. Everything's disgusting.
Where are you thinking?
I'm thinking like an office,
An office?
professional environment.
And you're sticking around for a while? It's
Wait.
not the end of the day? You're not like, let me
Yeah,
just do this before
I'm not
I
on
get
my
on the
way
subway?
out. It's just like I'm bored, so I'm going to go to the bathroom.
That's why I go to the bathroom most of the time out of boredom. Here's what you do. You're waiting.
Yeah. Jiggle the handle.
Jiggle the handle again. Just
Bang
be
on
like,
the door.
it's been so long
Kick
that
the
like
door.
maybe I was wrong and it wasn't locked originally.
Yeah, that happens to me all the time where I'm like, I didn't give it enough force.
Yeah.
Let me try again. And that's usually when I get the like, I'm in here.
But that usually breaks the log jam.
What lock jam?
Whatever's going on
speeds
in
up
there.
whoever's
yeah.
in there?
Yeah, and then they realize they're on the clock here. But if not, I don't know, just I don't know,
No,
go
but
somewhere else.
I'm not saying like, oh,
You're
and
not going to be happy walking in there.
I rarely am. No, I'm not saying like, oh, how do I speed this person up? I'm saying like, I don't want to look this person in the eyes when they come out.
Who cares?
I don't know. Sometimes,
Tom, let's face it. You're
real
probably
stinky.
looking down at your phone when they come out anyway.
I try to.
Yeah, so just do that. That's the best way to do anything in society.
I don't know, because like if I'm in the bathroom and it's some kind of an emergency and somebody's like rattling the thing, I'm like, oh, just go away for a while.
Yeah, but who cares?
I
Look,
care.
it's a dog-eat-dog world there in the bathroom game. It's gonna look. Nobody's gonna be happy with it. Everybody. Look, Tom. I was introduced to a book early on in my life. Everybody poops. Tom. Everybody poops. It's fine. Somebody's gonna be mad because you were in there doing something that they've done before. It's fine. Like you don't need to be ashamed. Oh, sorry. I know. Only 6% of the population ever has to take a dump. So
well,
I
but a lot of
apologize
people
for being
try not
one
to
of
do
them.
it at work.
Yeah, a lot of people try not to do that at work, but like it's not always an option
It's true.
to avoid. You can't always avoid it.
True.
Look, everybody just understand if you're not dealing with an empathetic person, Tom, that's their problem. That's not your problem.
So when somebody comes out, I should say, that's your problem, not my problem.
No, you just
Well, what should I say?
don't try
them?
to. You know what? You probably don't have to say
I have
anything
a lot of
at all.
trouble figuring out how to initiate conversation with the person coming out of the bathroom while I'm waiting for the bathroom.
After they've been in there for a
After
very
they've been in there for a while, like, oh, so what's new? What happened in there? Tim, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, you
Bum,
may.
bum, 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 bum. Y'all ready for this?
Yes.
Okay.
What is it?
It's basketball, baby. It's March Madness.
Tom, I've caught a terrible psychological disease.
Yeah, a type of madness.
A madness. I ate a cow that ate another cow.
That's mad cow disease.
Yeah, that's what I
That's
got.
a disease, not
March
a madness.
mad cow disease, right?
Yeah. I think mad cow disease was like a real bad thing.
Yeah, but everybody just got made a lot of jokes about it.
But I think
As
people
people
only
were
made
dying like horrible deaths, like
yeah, like
not
unconscionable.
not unlike March Madness. People that actually catch March Madness, Tom.
A lot of them are put down.
Just be glad you didn't have to see that.
No, I think it's mostly over the difference between in the UK how they use the term mad, like, "Oh, you mad?" And then here we're like, "You mad, bro?" It's a different.
I think mad cow disease predated the you mad bro.
Somebody
craze.
must have asked a bro if they were mad by then. But I'm just saying, like mad here means angry, but over there it means crazy.
Right.
Yeah. Although
The
if it was
best-
called crazy cow disease, then we would be having even more of a laugh.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't any of us that died.
It's true.
And I'm talking about the people in this room. And it's that dang Oprah. It's her fault, from what
How
I
is it
understand.
Oprah's? Oh,
Yeah.
no, it was Oprah was trying to help. Or no, she wasn't trying to help, but she like stoked fears.
Do you understand? Do you know how mad I would be if in 2018 some freaking like cattle ranchers
Yeah.
sued Oprah for like rightfully being like, there's this crazy disease that's killing people that eat beef. I'm not going to eat beef until this is figured out.
Yeah.
And then like these friggin' 10-gallon hat dickheads come in and is like, oh, we're taking you to court. We're going to take you for all you're worth. Shut up, you murderous assholes. Get out of here.
Yeah, but there's... it's different when it's Oprah because nobody's as influential as Oprah.
Yeah, and guess what? She was right.
She wasn't right in the U.S.
It's like, she's like, hey,
never
everybody
came
should
to the
floss.
US.
And then people are like, I like gingivitis. How dare you tell people to floss?
Well, gingivitis doesn't have a lobbying group. If
well,
they did,
they might as well.
what does that mean?
Because nobody's flossing. They don't need one.
That's true. Oh, man. You get
I
that?
love flossing, Tom. Flossing is my favorite thing to do.
It is a fun thing to do, but you don't do it regularly.
I would say I floss.
You often do it during the podcast, which is very distracting.
Yeah, I reuse the same floss every week,
Yeah,
too.
you leave it on the table, which has to be...
Nobody touch this.
Yeah, which I have to imagine the other podcasts that come in here and record can't be thrilled with it.
You ever smell your floss?
God. I mean, of course, Tim, but that's not a thing people talk about.
Okay. It's gross. And like that only makes me want to floss more because it's like, man, I would love to get to the point where I floss regularly enough that these smells are never in my mouth.
Yeah.
That these smells never come out of me in any way.
I wonder, does anyone floss enough that when they go to the dentist, they're like, oh, you must floss?
Oh, I get that.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I never get it.
Last time I went to the dentist, he said, number one, he told me I had a small mouth. This is a new dentist. I haven't been back since. And number two, he's like, I see you do a really good job flossing.
Yeah. Did you get charged extra because you have a small mouth?
No, it just, he kept like blaming me for like, I think he was a bad dentist. I think he might have taken the dental exam without going to dentist school.
Maybe.
Yeah, because
it's like, this isn't the same
yeah,
size mouth as the dummy.
you
I've
just have to
practiced
keep
on.
stopping, and he'd be like, you have a really small mouth. It's like, this has never happened to
Was
me
he
before.
like shaking his wrist out like, oh, God. I've never had to deal with such a small mouth.
Yeah.
It's you have big teeth, not
I have
necessarily
big
a
teeth.
small
I do
mouth.
have a small mouth.
You
I mean,
have a small head.
I got a big mouth when it comes to opinions.
Yeah.
And just try to silence me, dentists.
Right. You did try. He wired your mouth shut. I remember you were very upset about that. That was not what you went in there for.
Yeah, I had to go to a back alley dentist to get it unwired.
Yeah, stick some pliers in there and unwire it. What were we talking about?
Oprah.
Dentist? Oh, Oprah. We were talking about March Madness.
Oh,
Tim.
yeah.
The title of the episode. What is March Madness? Give a debriefing for anyone who's unsure.
Tom, March Madness is a basketball tournament. Do you know what b-ball is?
Do I know what b-ball is? Yeah, I learned on the streets, on the courts.
Tom?
On the blacktop.
Yeah, on the playgrounds.
Yeah. I don't play on wood.
Why not? Oak?
No, not even oak. Just blacktop, baby.
Down at the West 4th
One
courts?
time, I think the only time I ever played a pickup basketball game when I was a kid, I went down to the courts and I did like a fake shot. I don't think it was even meant to be a fake shot.
What do you mean a fake shot?
Like, oh, I'm going to take a shot. And somebody jumped to block it. And I was like, nope, psych, not a real shot. And I passed it to somebody. And like that, I remember it, I don't know, 25 years later as like the crowning achievement of my basketball career.
But like you
Because
also
other
realize
people on the team were like, wow, good move, man.
Yeah, but like, what is that even? You could pass it without, like, the point of
He
like
could have
faking.
blocked the pass, but I faked the shot.
Yeah, but why
and he
wouldn't you
jumped
fake
up,
a shot and
I was
then
like,
he's out of the way and then you take a shot and there's no defender there? That's typically
maybe I did take the shot. I'm going to change the story. I took the shot.
And it was
3
swish.
point. 3 point
It was a
from
swish,
downtown.
baby. This is all I heard. No, well, you were on the street, so it would be like a chung. Like, 'cause
It was
a chain.
a metal. It was a
Yeah.
chain.
All that did was take the grip off the ball is what I say.
I remember you saying that. You were on the
Yeah.
you were coaching at the time.
Yeah, and I was like, nobody get it in the hoop.
I don't want to replace that ball.
Yeah, it's my ball.
I never thought about how they'll take the grip off the ball. It makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense. You know what though? I like a nice like leather smooth ball.
I mean, it's not good for gripping.
Yeah, who gives a shit, man?
Basketball players.
Hey, I'm one, and I don't care.
The NCAA Division I basketball tournament, known informally as March Madness or the Big Dance.
Yeah.
I take offense to that.
Why? Because you think of homecoming as the big dance.
Yeah, exactly.
I know you do make a big deal about, well, who's going to invite me to homecoming this year? I'm like, Tim, you're a married grown man.
Big dance, big deal.
You should stop going to the high school homecoming dance. It's inappropriate.
It's a single elimination tournament played each spring in the United States, featuring
One and done.
68 college basketball teams from the Division I level of the National Collegiate Athletic Association, or the NCAA, to determine the national championship.
Yeah.
Tom, how far back do you think this thing goes? How deep do you think we're in it? Hey, we stepped in shit with this thing. How much dog shit is there?
I'm going to say it goes back to the 30s.
You're right, but can we narrow it down?
1938.
Nope. The year is the same year that we had hits like the classic film, The Wizard of Oz. Yes, that's right, folks. The Wizard of Oz and the NCAA Division I men's basketball tournament, or March Madness, or the Big Dance, both date back to 1939 on the charts.
Oh, I was only a year off.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I didn't say. I just said you were wrong.
Yeah, well,
I think you did a good job, Tom.
thank you.
So it's this tournament that
And if
everybody...
you think about it, I was only like 2.5 months off.
Maybe. I don't know, maybe. No, because you meant...
No, I thought it happened
You
in
thought
December of
March Madness happened in
1938.
December of 1938.
Yeah, because maybe they came up with it and they were like, well, next year we'll do it in March. But, you know, now we'll still just call it March Madness just so people aren't confused.
That makes sense.
Look, the 30s,
Why would they just wait a couple months?
Because they were so excited. They had to, you know...
They were competing against new colorized...
Yeah, and the
talkies.
country is still reeling from all those stockbrokers jumping off the buildings.
A full decade earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Tom? Mm-hmm. How engaged are you with March Madness, the NCAA Big Dance?
How engaged am I? I'll tell you this much. I filled out a bracket.
Yeah, okay. So they seed these teams, Tom.
Yeah, like plants.
Tom, have you ever read about how they choose? So all these colleges, for some reason, I'm gonna pretend people don't know about college or college basketball.
Yeah, no, that's fine. A lot of our listeners don't live in America. They might not know.
Yeah, a lot of them went to Jupiter to get more stupider.
Well,
While the rest of us went to college to get more knowledge.
Well, Tim, that's just disparaging to the majority of our listeners who have been to Jupiter.
Yeah, well, they went there for a reason, Tom, and it wasn't to go to college.
It's true.
It wasn't to get more knowledge. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Tom, so for some reason we have these we have these institutions of higher learning, right? Colleges and universities.
Yeah.
And people go, it's after their
High
primary and secondary schooling. They go there. Many of them are private.
I mean, now you're getting too into the weeds. I think people understand what a college is.
Okay, so it's there so people could go and learn.
Get more knowledge.
Get more knowledge. Yeah, as the rhyme says.
Yeah.
And then for some reason they also have sports teams.
Yeah.
Where like they devote a bunch of resources.
The majority of their resources.
Yeah. To
for some schools.
To cultivating these sports teams.
Yeah.
But none of the resources go to the players that are participating in these athletic
They'll
competitions.
maybe get a free ride. They get to go to college for free.
Yeah, but is that...
But they better not go to too many classes because they got to be training to be an athlete.
Right. So then they take these young men and women and they put them into this this basketball tournament.
Yeah.
The Columbia Broadcasting Company service system.
Yeah, system, I think, maybe.
Televises it.
CBS.
Yeah, Viacom.
Mm-hmm.
They make billions of dollars off of it.
A lot of money, a lot of games.
And again, the players get nothing.
No. And if they do get anything, they get in big trouble.
Right. And nobody learns anything.
We learn who's a better basketball team.
But everybody also in America wagers on it, sports betting, which is illegal, but nothing happens.
Yeah.
And like in some circles, like society just shuts down for a couple of weeks while this happens because this is all anybody cares about.
Yeah, because games are going on all the time.
Yeah.
Like around the clock.
Yeah, I mean only a couple days a week for a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
that's true. Tom, if you don't know, don't fight. And then we all enjoy it. We filled out these brackets.
It is a weird thing. I never really thought about how like everyone gambles illegally on these games being played that like the players get nothing out of it, or you know, maybe they get an NBA. A small percentage of them go on to the NBA and then become very rich. But then a small percentage get hurt doing this and can never go on to the NBA.
Right. Many of them die on the court during March Madness.
Rare.
It's crazy.
But then, yeah, CBS and everybody else, they scoop ESPN. They scoop up all the profits.
Mm-hmm. Dick Vitale's living in a palatial mansion.
Yeah, and he's just excited about the whole thing.
None of these players are getting paid, baby.
But anyway, we filled out brackets because look, we're slaves to the system, man.
Yeah.
Here's one of the things. Your wife frequently organizes.
Get her name out of your mouth. You buffoon. She hates you. I'll tell you this much about my wife. Not a fan of Tom.
No, I know. She always says,
boy, oh boy.
She always, like, whenever I, like, show up at a party or so, she starts screaming.
She's mean to nobody, but she's outright mean to your face.
Yeah.
She hates you.
But I still get invited to this March Madness tournament.
Yeah, because she wants to see you lose. She's like, I have a good idea to humiliate Tom.
I'm going to humiliate him once and for all.
He thinks they're playing games on Monday morning and will fight me about it.
But it's always through the CBS Sports website, which, god damn, this is a confusing website every time. And my question to you, which I wanted to ask before the show, and you were like, we can't talk about any of this beforehand.
Right. Gotta stay fresh.
Well, you wanted to eat your quesadillas
I did.
unperturbed.
Well, it took a long time for those quesadillas to come out.
It did take a very long time.
I really had to concentrate on eating those quesadillas.
I still don't think you should have screamed at the waiter the way you did.
Well,
it wasn't his
fault. I took
fault.
a cue from you, my hero. You told me, remember, these people that serve you, they're not people.
They work for you.
They're
work robots that work for you.
They're objects.
I think the past 2 years, I've filled out my bracket and been like, all right, I'm in. And it never got submitted. It got submitted to like the CBS sweepstakes or whatever.
Yeah.
But not like the actual group bracket. Where on the I'm looking at the bracket and they have a big logo from the NCAA. Don't bet on it. And it's like, what do you think all these people are doing? Creating groups and filling out brackets and like at the end they're going to be like, oh, Tim, you were the best at figuring out.
Last year, this group that we were in was titled Betting on Sports.
Yeah.
And this year it's just called Sports.
Yeah.
Did CBS Sports clean that up?
Well, it's a question for your wife, not a question for me.
Yeah. She doesn't know about computers.
So you don't know? Your wife didn't mention if my submission went through or not?
No, we don't talk about you much because once I get her started on you, she starts
would
freaking
stop.
foaming at the mouth.
Well, it's understandable.
God, she really hates you, Tom.
How do you...
I advocate for you, Tom. I'm like, he's not so bad. Then she makes a pretty compelling case about why you're so bad.
Tim, how do you fill out your bracket? What is your methodology to bracketology?
Well, Tom, I'm glad you asked.
Mm-hmm.
I watch a lot of college basketball throughout the college basketball season.
That's a lot of games. How many teams are Division I? Like, how many teams are eligible to get into the tournament?
Tom, I'm glad you asked. And
You're glad I asked now and not during the break. Not during the 3-hour break we just took.
right. I don't know. It's all
More than 68.
They come from college basketball's top conferences, including the ACC, American Athletic, A10, Big 12, Big East, Big 10, Mountain West, Pac-12, and SEC. Who can keep track? I can't name. Are you one of those people where somebody's like, "Yeah, I went to like Emerson College," and like you're like, and I'm supposed to know where that is?
All I know is like when I was in college, I went to University of Maryland, who is not in this tournament, but kind of in this tournament because University of Maryland, Baltimore College, which like
I don't understand.
well,
I don't understand collegiate sports. Tom.
well, so basically, University of Maryland, it's a state school.
Mm-hmm. What state again?
Maryland.
Yeah. Okay.
But like the one I went to is like the big, it's like a 35,000.
Oh, so it's in the Big East?
No,
It's in the Big 10?
I'll get to that.
You said it was big. I'm just
Listen,
trying to...
it's a very big school. University of Maryland,
big
Baltimore
school.
College is in the state system, but is a separate college, separate campus. Like I couldn't show up there and be like, "Hey, I'm taking classes here."
Yeah, because you didn't enroll in any of those classes.
Well, yeah, but
And
like
you're not good at basketball.
But University of Maryland looked down on UMBC. But now that University of Maryland did not make it into this tournament, everybody's like, "Oh, hey, UMBC, that's us. Like, let's cheer them on." But anyway, my point was going to be, when I was in school, we were in the ACC. Now I believe Maryland is part of the Big 10. But maybe the Big 12. I thought the Big 12 was the Big 10.
yeah, then they
plus
added
2.
a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, that math checks out.
Yeah. But anyway, it changed. And the only reason it changed was because of cable television contracts.
Yeah, okay.
That like
Cable
the school
television
makes more
contracts?
money being in that league that like they're kind of outclassed in, but there's more money. Small fish in a big pond rather than big fish in a small pond.
You know, that happened to me, Tom, in
A pond?
basketball.
In basketball.
When my, I think it was probably 4th grade.
Uh-huh.
Me and my friends joined a basketball league. I didn't like basketball that much.
Right.
I guess I did. I don't know. I can see it from my parents' perspective. My parents made me do it.
Yeah.
Like, if it were up to me, I would have done nothing ever.
Right.
So, like, I could see them being like, "Yeah, you gotta do something."
And
You-
podcasts weren't around yet.
exactly. So it's
Or else they would have signed you up for the Youth Podcast League.
yeesh. Like first practice, I showed up in jeans. I didn't know. So anyway, they split us up into 2 teams. Like they had a few practices, and there was the A team, which was good, and the B team, which is bad.
B for bad.
Yeah, and A team for
Awesome.
What did the A team stand for in the TV show?
With Mr. T and all?
Yeah.
I think it was just the best team, the
Yeah.
A team.
Well, wouldn't
I
that
think
be
it
the B
stood
team?
I think it stood for the same thing the A team stood for in this.
Okay.
So when I said the B team stands for the bad team, that actually wasn't true. It just stands for the B team.
Okay. So anyway, like they essentially gave me the choice. They were like, I could either be one of the better
Yeah.
players on the B team or by far the worst player on the A team. And the A team, I think it's like 2 or 3 like actual professional athletes nowadays.
Yeah.
Like they grew up to be athletic.
Yes.
Not me. I was like, I'm going to choose the A team.
Yeah.
And then, like, first of all, I was 4th grade. I barely played.
Yeah.
I had 2 points the whole season. It stunk. The next year, I was like, I'm definitely going to be on the B team. I was all right on the B team.
Yeah. That's the way to go. Like in
Big fish, small pond. I was the small fish in the big pond, and it
in
sucked.
high school playing soccer when I was on JV soccer. Like I started every game because there weren't enough players. But then once there really weren't enough players, they cut a few people, but put the rest of us on varsity, and like I just sat the bench on varsity.
Varsity Blues. Classic
I had the
varsity blues.
Yeah, I was like, put me in, coach. I'm ready to play.
Today.
Yeah, and he was like, no, the only reason you played on JV was because there weren't enough people. It's like, but also,
Yeah, coach, you tell it like it is. I respect you.
coach, I like it.
It's honest.
He was probably also like, you definitely got a concussion that one game, and everybody just swept it under the rug.
Yikes.
And you've never been the same since.
Yeah, so the way they choose the teams, Tom,
Yeah.
they have these selection committees made up of athletic. Tell me if you've ever heard a more boring mix of people in your life.
Okay.
The 10-member basketball selection committee is made up of athletic directors and conference commissioners throughout Division I athletics with separate committees for men and women tournaments. If they're like, hey, here's a room full of athletic directors and conference commissioners from college sports,
Yeah.
would you be like, oh, this is a great bunch that I'm gonna?
I bet they take it so seriously too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
They're
$1
supposed
billion
to, yeah.
industry, but,
Yeah. So they.
but I bet they're like, no joking.
Right. They decide which teams compete in the tournament.
Okay.
32 teams receive automatic bids because they win their conference tournaments. We talked about the conferences earlier.
Yeah.
The conferences seem very fungible, though. It seems like very like it used to be the Big 10, now it's Big 12. You said it's some sort of cable television corruption scheme that I didn't fully follow, but I agree. The selection committee only selects the teams who receive at-large bids, though each conference receives
so
only one automatic
the bid.
The selection committee may select any number of at-large teams from each conference. Many of these at-large teams, however, are on the bubble, meaning their chances of gaining a tournament berth are borderline, and they will not know that they have gained entry until Selection Sunday bracket announcements. They made a TV show, Tom, that like so many. I was at a family party on Sunday.
Yeah.
This past Selection Sunday.
Well, thanks
Year
for
of
the
our Lord
invite.
2018, and like
Tim, how come I don't get invited
the
to your
action
family
stopped
parties?
so we could watch this TV show where some athletic administrator read off a list of colleges.
What do you mean it was a TV show? Was it like a fictional?
No, it's Selection
actors?
Sunday. It was on television.
Oh,
It was
okay.
a scheduled TV program.
Yeah.
It's just cable television, man.
Telling you.
It's ridiculous. So anyway, the RPI rating is often considered a factor in selecting and seeding the final few teams from the
Revolutions
tournament
per
field.
inch.
However, the NCAA Selection Committee in 2015 said the RPI is only utilized for grouping the teams into groups such as top 50 and top 100 teams to value the wins and losses. Basically, there's like 15 paragraphs of how they do this.
That's what I mean when I say, I don't mean to say that they take it too seriously, that it's too convoluted.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Why are we doing this? And here's the other thing. These guys, these athletic directors and whoever came up with these formulas that they're using,
Yeah.
they should be deciding everything because always like a number 1 or 2 seed
Yeah, it's
wins.
true. Yeah, they figure it out.
Yeah, like it always works.
Yeah.
Like there's always very few. So here's how
Well,
I
they
choose
got to
my
figure out a
brackets.
way to, get rid of the money. They can't pay the athletes, so they got to pay somebody.
Yeah.
Might
They
as well
pay the
pay
mathematicians.
pay these dweebs with their abacuses out.
Yeah, no, they get wedgies and swirlies from the players
basketball
themselves.
players
Yeah.
come in. All right, now that everything's done, cut the cameras. We're gonna have these gigantic basketball players give these guys swirlies.
So anyway, they seed everybody. So there's 4 conferences. They conferences, is that what they're called?
Yeah,
No.
everybody comes.
No,
there's like
4
some PowerPoint presentations.
North. No.
You get to network
They
a
got
little bit.
This is some BS. The 4 the 4
Horsemen.
yeah. You got the East, schools from the East.
Yeah.
You got the South, schools from the South. You got the West, they're from out West. You got the Midwest.
Yeah.
Those are the 4. Where the hell's the North?
That's the East.
Yeah, but a lot of things are East. Florida's East, but they're also South.
Well, where's the middle?
Why don't we just call the East the North then?
Yeah, because I think probably because people from states like Virginia will be like, we're not North.
Yeah, why would you want to be associated with the winning side?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Relitigating the
Wow.
Civil War on the reopening those wounds.
Tim drops the mic on the Civil War.
Tom, I got a hot take.
Uh-huh.
I'm against slavery.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid to say it.
I knew-
I think the North should have won, and I'm glad we did.
I'm glad we preserved the Union.
Yeah. No, I'm actually not glad we preserved the Union. Because I'd like to cut a lot of these jokers loose.
It would have caused so many more problems if this country were 2 countries right now.
Yeah. But, yeah. Man, there'd be so many wars, huh?
There would just be constant wars over
Yeah.
the past 150 years.
All right. So here's how I tell you. They seed them. Each one has 1 through 16. The first seed is the best team. 16 is the worst. They play each other. 2, 15.
Oh, they don't go by the rules of first is the worst, second is the best, third is the one with the hairy chest?
Tom, I can't believe the people of Tennessee, the 3rd seed in the South.
I know it's
For
a
you
sore
saying
point for
they
them.
have a hairy chest, they're going to lose their dang minds.
Yeah.
Coming after you with pitchforks. Tom said it, not me. Also, they're upset about the whole slavery ending thing,
Yeah.
too.
All right, Tim, is that a slight at me saying they're going to come at me with pitchforks? Is that implying I'm Frankenstein?
Well, you are big and lumbering.
So how do you pick your teams,
I
Tim?
pick the
You
better
go-
team by the number next to them, the lower number, and
Yeah.
then once in a while, if the numbers are kind of close, like 8 and 9,
Mm-hmm.
or like 7 and 10, I'll choose an upset at random. I'll take a look at what Nate Silver says. I'll take a look at what some analysts say.
Oh, so you do a little bit of off. You don't watch the games.
I don't learn. I haven't watched 1 second of college basketball this year,
Yeah.
nor do I care to. But it's fun to root for things.
It's fun to root for the home team. I heard that in a song once.
Yeah.
There are no New York
We don't have
teams.
the rights to that song.
NYU, your alma mater, is not in there this year, huh?
Yeah, no,
The
they're
Fighting Violets.
for a while there. They weren't allowed to have a basketball team because of a point shaving scandal in the 70s. I
A
think.
point shaving scandal.
Yeah,
What does that mean?
basically,
Shave off a few points.
yeah, for the gamblers got to them and they were like, "Yeah, make the score."
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Like, hey, if it gets keep the spread here. Don't,
Old Muggsy came in and he's like, "Hey, see, you're gonna shave some points, you see."
who the hell was betting on NYU basketball in the 70s?
You can bet on anything, Tom.
Yeah, that's true.
We're betting on this.
Yeah,
no,
better-
we're not. They say don't bet on it. When we say we're betting,
Uh-huh.
this is all a joke. Don't arrest us.
Who's gonna arrest us?
The freaking feds, man, they're listening.
Nah.
They got bugs in this place.
What?
They can hear every word we're saying.
I doubt it.
Robert Mueller. We'll get
Robert
wrapped up
Mueller.
in this
He's
investigation.
in a van outside right now with big
Yeah,
cans
he's
on.
Look, if you guys think Robert Mueller isn't coming for each and every one of us, By the time this whole thing is over, we're all gonna be.
We're all gonna be perp walked.
Man, imagine he just was like, "I'm arresting everybody."
Yeah, I'm arresting these guys. They were talking about betting on sports, so I had to launder Russian money. I'd like to get wrapped up in all this. It'd be good. It'd be great PR for the show.
Yeah.
If all of a sudden an indictment got handed down that I was now a suspect.
And then all these journalists would be like pouring through our back catalog, send our numbers way up to the top.
Yeah.
Top of the charts because all these journalists are trying to find incriminating statements.
Yeah, the joke's on them because we're reaping in all the rewards.
Yeah. Yeah, we're criminals. Yeah, we did crimes. Yeah, we admitted to them on this podcast.
Every once in a while, one of those journalists is going to be like, you know what? That does sound like an interesting product. I will use their referral code.
Exactly. Then we'll get acquitted, and then we'll, and everybody will be like, oh, how did that happen? And then 10 years later, we'll release a book called If We Bet on Sports. We'll get paid pretty penny
we'll put
for
the
this.
if real small.
Yeah.
And we'll be like, if we bet on sports, this is how we did it.
Yeah.
And then we'll lay out in detail going to cbssports.com and Venmoing $10 to your wife. Hypothetically.
And this guy showed up, and this guy Marty showed up and was like, go to the CBS Sports website. You'll be surprised at what you see there. Then I blacked out, and suddenly I was Venmoing money to my wife.
My now wife. I do a similar thing. I think one year I let it like auto fill out the bracket, and I had dreams of winning the whole thing and then being like, guess what, assholes? I didn't even pick it. I let a computer do it. You all got fooled by a computer, and now that computer's made me rich beyond my wildest dreams.
This is your fantasy that you could like not claim to know something. You could claim to be like, a computer did it, and it's gonna ruin us all.
Yeah,
that's your dream. Your dream is for computers to do friggin' everything.
Yeah, guess what, everyone? Computers are gonna steal all your jobs. And that computer is going to work for me.
I could see like if you were a guy who built computers or sold computers, this is a good fantasy.
Oh, maybe I wasn't clear when I said I let a computer decide. I built a computer.
Oh, wow.
And an algorithm.
Okay.
The size of a walk-in refrigerator to figure out.
That's a big algorithm.
To figure out. that was just the computer.
Oh, wow.
To figure out who would win the basketball games. But no, I just looked at, I did a similar thing to you, but then I would occasionally.
I like that you thought like anybody would care if you're like, haha, suckers, I've auto-filled it. And we'd all just be like, yeah, well, we all just guessed. So, 6 dozen of one, six dozen of one.
Half a dozen in the other.
Yeah, and so 6 dozen wins.
But does it? But doesn't.
A riddle for the ages. A regular Rumpelstiltskin.
Did
Rumpelstiltskin have riddles, or you just had to guess his name?
You had to guess his name and say it 3 times? No, you had to get him to say his name, maybe.
There was a lady.
I might be thinking of...
He stole a lady's baby, I think.
Maybe, yes.
That's messed up.
I'm thinking of Mr. Mishkovic, or whatever his name is, the Superman villain. He's from a different dimension. You have to get him to say his name backwards, and then he'll go away.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about comic books, Tom.
I was talking about Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah. Folk tales.
Yeah, I would read the like little blurbs that they had about each team.
Really? That seems like a lot of work.
Not for
There's
all
68
of them. Not
teams
when it was like a blowout. Not when it was, number 1 seed against 16.
One day it'll happen, Tom, and you'll feel like a fool. Should have read those blurbs, is what you'll say.
You know what, though? I've done this before where I've picked like real, like, you know what, man? I'm going for all Cinderella stories here. All blowouts.
Literally all. No, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, and it never happened. And usually, I think they've gotten much better at seeding these teams now.
Yes,
so now
they got a bunch of bookworms doing it.
Yeah, so now it's just like, no, just look at the numbers, and whoever has a lower number, they're the one who's going to win that match.
Yeah.
until it gets to the very end.
People like you who call it match are part of the problem.
Who do you have winning the whole thing, Tim?
Tom, the greatest.
You have me? Wow, thank you.
There might be a guy named Tom on this team because they're America's team as far as I'm concerned.
There's no big famous basketball players named Tom. Right? You can't think of one.
Yeah, but I mean, there should be.
There's
Tim Hardaway.
That's not Tom.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking
That's
about
your
me,
name.
Tim. Yeah.
It's very similar.
Tim
It's close.
Duncan also. It's just weird because like Tom is a much more common name
You think?
than Tim.
Yeah.
Yes.
No way. I meet more Tims than Toms.
What are you,
I've
nuts?
never met another Tom.
What are you kidding me?
No, I've met other Toms, but I meet way more Tims.
That's bullshit. Name 2 other Tims you know, first and last name.
Tim Cook, Tim Hardaway,
Can't argue with that.
and Timmy Meatballs.
Who do you got winning? You ask.
Yeah. America's team, the New England Patriots.
Kansas.
Kansas.
Yeah.
I do have Kansas in the final game. Who do you have them against?
A dumb state called Virginia.
That's what I have.
Man, you want to
Tim,
shake
it's
on
almost like we use the same methodology to pick which teams would win.
By and large, pick the lower number. Once in a while, pick an upset if they're close
but not
enough.
not like a crazy upset.
Yeah, exactly. Tom, who? Let me ask you this: Who
Should we put more money
is
on this?
the highest seed you have going the furthest? And what is it, and where do you go?
I don't know. I can't see the seed numbers in my bracket.
Tom, I got a number 4, Gonzaga.
Yeah. They always do well, though.
Yeah, because they sound like Gorgonzola, and it's fun.
Yeah.
I got them going all the way to the Elite 8. No, I got them, Tom.
Uh-huh.
Hold on.
The final
Hold the
4?
phone. The final effing 4.
Tim,
The FFF.
I'll give you $1,000 if you can tell me where Gonzaga is in the United States of America.
It's in the West.
What state?
You didn't specify. I said it was in the West.
Yeah, but what state?
Doesn't matter at this point. I've already won the $1,000. Why should I go above and beyond? Maybe if you want me to answer that more specifically for $5,000.
Well, now you're just
definitely do that.
I can see what you're typing. Yeah. You know, when I was in college, Tim, my basketball team
Holy
won.
shit! Really?
We won.
No, hold on. Where
What?
do you think Gonzaga is? Gonzaga.
Oregon.
No, it's in Washington.
Oh, that was pretty
Spokane.
close.
Yeah. Well, I
They're
already narrowed it down to the West.
Yeah.
Let's not get too full of
just
ourselves
3
here.
states over there, right? Not Florida. Florida? California, Oregon, Washington. Am I missing one?
No, but like that, like are
On the
the West
coast.
Coast.
Yeah. Okay. Pretty good, huh?
We're all very impressed.
No, I went to college, and when I went to college, the college I went to, the basketball team won it all
While you were there,
while I was there.
did you celebrate by setting a car on fire?
I did not, but I can't speak for the other gentlemen that I went to college with. I went to an all-boys school. No, I like went out to go see everything going on, and I just thought it was the dumbest shit in the world that people were like, flipping over cars and stuff. They flipped over a police car. I'm just like, what? Why aren't these cops shooting you?
Well, Tom, I'll tell you why.
They're rich white kids.
No, well, also like, maybe the thing to say to a police officer is not like, "Why aren't you shooting this?"
That's
person?
what I was yelling. I shoot this man. He's flipping First off, he's drunk underage. Second off, he's flipping your car over.
Okay.
And he's wearing mesh shorts and flip flops. It was funny because like that didn't really like, even though like a cop car was flipped over and like a bunch of other cars were flipped over, that like wasn't a big deal. But then like one of the fires melted some Comcast fiber optic lines, And Comcast like sued the school, even though they had like their name on
Did
our
Comcast
stadium.
send in their police force
they're-
that operates like
They had a helicopter with snipers.
yeah, exactly. Like the Blackwater mercenaries in the Comcast helicopters can just operate with outside of any kind of legal.
I think since then they've just electrified all the poles.
And this has been the NCAA
NCAA.
MCO. This has been March Madness. We've gone mad. You've heard our picks. Who was your pick? Virginia. Virginia.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, I'm sorry we had to cut this short, but we don't know anything about basketball.
I was just about to ask if you can dunk.
Yeah, I can dunk.
Oh, okay, cool.
Now for an episode of Tim and Tom Solve Your Problems. Hello and welcome to Tim and Tom Solve Your Problems. My name is Tim.
I'm Tom.
We're going to solve a problem. You, listener, if you want us to solve a problem of yours, just email us at thecompleteguidetoeverything@gmail.com.
Yeah. Especially if you're coming to our NYC show on April 7th.
Yes. Good job, Tom, because we need that.
Somebody was holding up a cue card behind you. That's
Anybody that emails us your problem, you're guaranteed to get an answer from us. It's not true. Tom? This guy asked us a question. Hey guys, I'm a little upset right now, so maybe it's a good time to see if you can solve a problem of mine.
Well, maybe you should take a walk around the block before.
Yeah, I think he's had
some
some time.
steam.
He sent this on February 27th. A couple of years ago, I met a guy that owns a few houses around town, and he had one that had been abandoned a few years, so it was in bad shape. A zombie house is what they call that, Tom.
Okay.
I used to be a carpenter, so I had the ability to create a win-win. I wanted...
Is that a carpenter thing?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that like a gazebo?
I wanted out of my current residence, so we made a deal. I'd do the labor on the house and get tenants in and manage the place and build an apartment in the basement for myself and live here with 4 other roommates in the house and pay only $100 a month.
Okay.
Initially...
4 people living in the basement?
No, I think 4 in the whole house.
All right, that makes more sense.
Yeah, 4 people in the basement seems
It's like, I don't know, that's even worth
unmanageable.
$100.
Initially, I wrote out a contract so the terms were agreed upon, but with little privacy at the start, those signed papers disappeared from my possession. Gradually, my control over who moves in has disappeared, and it's bad. Sometimes, as the slumlord wants his money, this guy has become a slumlord now. He used to just be a guy. And by now, almost anyone can move in if they have the money. Turnover is high, so logistically, it's a lot of time and effort to be picky about tenants, as I have a job in addition to all of this.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is that out of control what I'm saying is that it's out of control with 2 people per room and currently 8 here now.
Jesus. Yeah, he's around a flop house.
Most of them have a plethora of issues, and I've been robbed of so much stuff I've forgotten some. But $100 a month is unheard of rent, and I can't deny that. I'm constantly asking myself if it's worth it, and there are times it's not that bad, but low lifes are just that, and I think I'll lose my mind. When it comes to clueless people, the smallest things can turn into drama, i.e., I don't have a cigarette, I won't drive them somewhere, or I'm just the asshole that has to ask for rent when they don't pay. I'm a generous person, but they've trained me, so I give them nothing. So that's what they'll expect, and will hopefully not bother asking for petty stuff all the time. But seriously, $100 a month. What are some ways to afford myself some peace and stability that don't involve me moving out? Thank you.
Well, first off, I'm wondering how good of a job he did renovating this house. if this is the clientele you're getting.
Look, $100 a month, but your stuff is always getting stolen.
Yeah.
Do you always have to rebuy new stuff every time you come home?
And you have to be the landlord, but then like they're always asking you for rides and cigarettes.
Yeah, I know you have a lot of you have another job, but like $100 a month, your living expenses aren't that much.
Yeah. I'm curious about how long this has been going on for.
Yeah, I want to know.
Because if it's been like a couple of months or whatever, I get that it's like, oh yeah, it sucks. You put work in and you haven't reaped the full rewards. But like, if this was like a couple of years ago or something, cut your losses, man. Be like, yeah, you know what? Put that work in, and this sucks. I'm gonna have to walk away from it. But
I got like 2 full years of living for
almost rent free.
Yeah,
I saved that money, and now I can build a new house for myself to live in the basement of.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things you can do. You can do a whole gut renovation while everybody's out one day, and then come back and be like, "This isn't your
just
house."
Just like a real big poop in the bathroom, and it stinks so bad that everybody moves out. What does gut renovation mean?
Do you not watch HGTV, Tom?
No.
It's got nothing to do with pooping.
Oh, I thought it was like, I'm going to clear out my guts and, they'll be sorry.
No, you just knock down all the walls and stuff and build new stuff. And when they come home, just be like, I'm sorry. I don't
know what happened.
I don't know. Like, I don't know who you are. This isn't your house. Like, paint it a different color, too. You'll need a pretty big crew to do that.
Change the number. On the
just
door.
To make the 6 a 9.
Yep.
Now, this is 129 Oak Street.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But then you don't get your mail anymore.
That's fine. You think this guy's getting mail?
I'm curious how, the stuff that's getting stolen, like how fortified his own room is.
Yeah.
Because if he's...
You're a carpenter. Build yourself a lockbox, for Christ's sake.
Build yourself a wooden safe to live in.
Yeah. Hey, why don't you make the whole apartment out of the wooden safe?
Look, I don't think... I say just cut your losses, man.
Yeah, he asked specifically for ways that he wouldn't have to move out, but I reject his premise.
Yeah. Especially if you've lived there longer than 6 months, then, and also if he has the say in who's moving in, then like he's at fault here.
Yeah, but what he's saying is that like he doesn't have time to do all this because the turnover's high, and he's been outsourcing that to his slumlord.
Right, which I get, but at the same time, it's like
I want to know how much everybody else is paying. I have so many questions.
I also think like if you cleared house, if you got rid of all the other 8 miscreants living there now, and like fix the place up maybe a little bit more,
we'll move in.
We'll move in.
Me and my wife.
Uh-huh.
Tom, you and your wife.
Yes.
You have a wife?
I'm estranged.
Okay. Maybe this is just the gambit to get you two back together.
You know what? I think it might be.
Who else? Marika, are you in? I'm sorry we didn't hear you.
Sure.
An enthusiastic sure. Did this guy say where he lives? Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Williamsburg.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Yeah, great.
That's where we are right now. We'll stop by afterwards.
If this was in Williamsburg, I would consider moving into this.
Tim, you live in a lovely home with your wife. Why would you move into this?
Because I want to help this guy out.
Well, that's very neighborly of you.
Yeah. Who else could we get to move in?
No, I'm not convincing anyone to move into this place. I'm saying he could fix up the
AJ
place.
would do it.
He could get...
AJ's got a family.
AJ's got a family. He doesn't want to come live in a house with this guy.
Look, we almost got 8. If it's... we do have 8.
All right, it's set.
Great.
We're moving in.
Hey.
We're moving in.
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba. Heart attack.
Ball of red. If you like the show, you can find out more at tcgt.com. You can, if you want to come to that live show, if you have, more importantly, if you have questions for Tim and Tom Solve Your Problems during that live show in New York on April 7th, tcgt.com/live to buy a ticket, and then the complete guide to everything
Bottle of wine.
at gmail.com to send in your question. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/complete guide. Follow us on Twitter at complete guide. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Tom Reynolds.
Follow me on those things at your pal Tim.
And check out
Why would anyone want to see our pictures?
And then check out our nice sell, our Reddit at tcgt.reddit.com. And if you want to support the show, support our sponsors. Also, check out tcgt.com/Amazon for your Amazon shopping and tcgt.com/pledge for our Patreon, where you can get fun weekly mini episodes of other shows that we host. What are you laughing at, Tim?
I'm trying to look up some Billy Joel karaoke songs on Spotify.
Yeah.
But they don't have any...
Hey, the hits? They're all B-sides?
No, they just don't have Moving Out. That seems crazy, right?
Did you just search Moving Out Karaoke?
No.
Well, that might be the thing to search. I don't think anyone can hear what they're playing. I'm like, Tim, save the karaoke for after the show like we do every week. Yeah. That would be awesome. If every week we went out and did karaoke afterwards.
Hey, Marika, scream your answer. Would you be into that?
Sure.
No. All right. We'll see you next week. Where are the vocals?
Karaoke.
I forget the words. If that's what moving in, you ought to know right now. I'm out. Yeah, I'm moving out. Moving out. Moving out. Moving out for good.
That was a HeadGum podcast.